So for my Innocence project, for my person, I picked George Allen, which I think it's a really interesting case. He served 30 years, but yeah,
Like I said, my case is George Allen. And so the crime on February 14th, 1982, a woman was found dead in her home by her boyfriend. She had multiple stab wounds and there were signs of sexual assault. The victim's stab wounds were in her back and her neck. The suspects in the investigation, the early suspects were, there was a known sex offender in the area and his brother happened to live in the same apartment as the victim. And some other early suspects were the victim's boyfriend and ex-husband. On March 14th, 1982, the police approached George Allen thinking he was Eaton, who is the sex offender. And the detective realized his mistake, but he still decided to interrogate Allen. Allen had a history of severe mental health and was hospitalized for it many times, and he ended up actually thinking he did it, so he gave in, saying that he did. The investigation and identification continued. Allen became convinced that the police had evidence against him because of the intense interrogations. And Allen's only alternative was to confess to the crime that he didn't commit. And the detective made Allen fit the crime and often made him change his answers for some questions so that he better fit the crime. So it was easier for them to sentence him. So Allen ended up getting sentenced guilty and he spent 30 years in prison. Then the Innocence Project took on Allen's case, and the prosecutor's main evidence was that there was semen around the victim and it didn't match Allen. And the Innocence Project used that as their main argument, showing that there's no way that Allen could have been there because he didn't match the samples. And there was no other physical evidence that Allen was there. They decide Pamela Ann Richardson told her term of events on how it went for her, and she was on her home phone from 10 to 10:15, and she made plans to come by the victim's house to pick up some work supplies. And when Richardson arrived at 10:30 and 10:45, the perpetrator was already in the home. They tried to get her to remember if the killer yelled out the name when Richardson knocked, which is one of the pleas Allen made, which one of the detectives made him agree to. But Richardson could not remember, and they tried to use hypnosis on Richardson, but it was completely unreliable, obviously. Where did my cursor go? What? Oh yeah. Okay, so Allen's first trial was a deadlock, 10-2 in favor. Allen's first trial was a deadlock, 10-2 in favor of Allen, saying that he was not guilty. Allen's alibi was that he was snowed in at home at the time of the murder and rape, so that he couldn't have been there. And Allen passed away at home on October 6th, 2016 in St. Louis, Missouri. And yeah, that's my project. And for my artistic part of the project, I wrote a haiku. Yeah, there it is. There's my haiku. Yeah. February 4th, 1982, dreadful day today, a great frustrating wrong sits before the angry. So, yeah, I hope you liked it.